Paige, there she is. She's live in the Dallas Design District inside the AM/FM Diner and Lounge to tell us so much more. Paige, something smells good in there, doesn't it?
Ooh, it's smelling good in here. We are at the AM/FM Diner. This is a newly opened establishment, and let me just tell you, when it comes to the cool factor, it's way up here. Check it out. Let's wheel this guy around. This is Matthew Harbour. He is the proprietor of this establishment.
Good morning.
Matthew, good morning to you. You came from a music background. You did concert promotion, decided that you wanted to open a diner, include that into your concept. How did this whole thing come about?
Oh, well, as concert promoters, our hours are not typical. It's not normal for me necessarily to be up early when we have late concerts, but it's the music industry. It's all over the map. And we're early risers and we have to work late.
Well, you know what? I'm hungry. So let's continue our conversation while they bring out a few little dishes here. Because your menu, the great thing is you were telling me that the whole music industry has begun to change with the millennials kind of coming of age and attending these kinds of concerts and participating. They're wanting a fine dining experience. They're not wanting to necessarily stay out to 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're also not wanting to spend a bunch of money. And this is reflected in these dishes. Describe this one for me as I take a little dive in.
This one, avocado toast is quite popular. That yolk is ready to be spread around that dish, but it is my favorite version of this. I'm biased, but I did not eat a lot of avocado toast until we opened this place, and it is by far one of my favorite dishes. It's got a chive cream cheese, fresh avocado, salsa matcha, lots of flavor.
And you're not messing around when it comes to working with really some well-known chefs to put some fantastic options on the plate, and including this. Tell me about this dish.
Yeah, candied pecans. It's our version of a French toast. It certainly deserves the syrup.
Oh my
God! So you've got the cream, sweet potatoes.
Absolutely delicious.
This is definitely a treat, but like a lot of our dishes, there's an element of it being decadent, but it's also not heavy.
Let's talk a little bit more about what you've seen, because you spent your career as a music promoter and you've really kind of witnessed a change in taste and expectations of the millennial generation. What is that, and how is that reflected in AM/FM?
Sure. I mean, at its core, what we book for a living as talent buyers is in that college rock vein. And so we still do the bands that I listened to well over 20 years ago. We grow with the careers, but we specialize in emerging artists. And so we deal with a lot of people that are primarily 18 to 28. And there's less drinking at shows. People are consuming differently. But one thing we realized when Ferris Wheelers was here and had the restaurant and the concerts, people enjoyed the backyard experience, getting a bite before the show, staying a little bit afterwards. But it wasn't we're going to have 5 cocktails like an older generation might have done.
All right, well, there's a couple more dishes that we're going to have come out. And I think that is a particularly interesting thing that we're hearing, is that the cocktails are becoming less and less important. This generation is not drinking as much, but their tastes are discerning. And you've been able to kind of somehow find a way to put together these elevated dishes at a price that's approachable. What on earth am I looking at there?
It's a pork belly toast. So growing up in Tennessee, my grandfather was actually a pig farmer, so pork being sprinkled on the menu. Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yeah, small town, Paris, Tennessee. So pork was a big part of my childhood, and we prepare it like a large slab of bacon. So like everything else, there's an element of it being decadent, but it's also familiar and kind.
Familiar and kind. I love that. And what am I diving into right now?
That is our version of hash browns.
Yum.
Pre-formed and fried. There's cheddar in there. One of my favorite things on the entire menu is this jalapeno crema. This needs to be in more dishes, in my opinion, because it's just...
Okay, because speaking of that has a kick. Woo! It has a kick. Because one of the things that you emphasize too is that this is traditional American fare, but there is a Mexican twist that goes into it as well.
Definitely. My partner Annette, she's second generation Mexican American, grew up in Southern California. Our paths met in Texas, and so we're bringing a little bit of the South and comfort food, and Definitely trying to bring bolder flavors and more seasoning that I might have grown up in my childhood.
Well,
but just have it being familiar and comforting.
Let's take a look behind the scenes because we have the chef whipping up these dishes that are back here. And again, I think the emphasis I want to bring up is that, you know, the cocktails still are there. They're part of the fiber of many of these kinds of concert experiences. But adding the food element to it is adding a new dimension. And I'm kind of encouraged by this change, by seeing this younger generation that's appreciating fine dining, but at the same time being very conscious about what they're eating and avoiding some of the hard alcohol that usually is associated with these concerts.
Yeah, the industry needs to adapt. You know, I will have a couple of beers at a show all the time, but it's not what everybody's looking for now. And so we're trying to lean into the trend instead of just being stubborn in the ways.
Oh my
The
gosh.
music industry is very difficult. The margins are tough, so this adds an element to that equation.
Well, you've certainly done it well. And guess what? You're only seeing a small portion of this restaurant. We're going to be going outside. There's a Ferris wheel outside. This is a fun venue. That's where the concerts are going to be taking place. We're going to do that a little bit later on in the show. For now, I'm going to keep enjoying my breakfast, my friend. Hey, you know how I am, Aaron. You give me a stage and let's perform. And that's what happens here at AM FM Lounge, newly opened right here in the Dallas Design District. I'm excited to introduce you to Annette Marin to tell us more about this venue and how it transforms after dark. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So Annette, of course, I spoke to Matthew earlier. You two are partners in crime.
We are.
You came up with these concepts. We are outside in this fantastic venue, outdoors. There's so much to see, even complete with a Ferris wheel that's here. This place gets hopping when the sun goes down.
It does. We have fit 1,000 people back here, and it also is a place that can host 250 people and feel very intimate. So it's a very unique space that I think DFW needed as far as having a bigger outdoor venue that also produces independent artists and up and coming emerging acts. So it's a very special place. To me, it feels more like you're in a backyard in Austin. Instead of being in the design district in Dallas. So I think that this is a very unique concept, and we were really excited to be able to bring in unique menu items to go with all of the unique artists that we book 365 days a year.
Well, and we have some video that I want our viewers to see that showcases what this looks like after dark, because I'm telling you, it is hopping. We really exciting, different types of arts, different types of artists that are here. You have a variety of people who are performing so that it really hits the note for different people with their discerning and differing tastes. They have so many different options that exist that people can come and enjoy. And as you said before, alcohol does not seem to be as much of a theme. You've got lots of non-alcoholic drinks that are available for visitors to this, in addition to some great food options as well.
Absolutely, and that was the whole basis of why we created this space. We've been music promoters for 16 plus years. We've booked hundreds of, probably thousands of shows. On an annual basis, we'll have 100,000 people walk through our doors through all the multiple venues that we work with. The one piece that we were missing was tying all the pieces together in order to make live music feasible. It's a very difficult industry, so surviving on the ticket alone is
and then already this is a difficult industry, but then you add food to the equation.
Yes.
And look at these different delectable bites that are here. This is some grub, because you need to have yourself well fueled if you're going to be enjoying a night out, experiencing things. And these are hearty, wholesome dishes. As you said, you've worked with some pretty impressive chefs to come and curate these different menus.
Absolutely.
And the space itself, as we look around here, this is something that can accommodate a small group, it can accommodate a big group, lots of different special events that are on hand as well. It's really fun to know that this is a place that's just minutes from downtown. So many different things I can think of, rehearsal dinners, receptions, but also really first-rate performers that are out here playing music to a crowd that's excited to join in and have some good grub in the process.
Yes, you can enjoy our diner inside and have a dish like the stuffed stuffed meatloaf, or you can come in the backyard and have the Sonora hot dog, our brand new pork belly tacos, and we've got some great smash burgers as well, and some crinkle fries.
Well, and you were really a big part when World Cup was here.
I was.
This girl right here went to almost all of the World Cup games.
All of them except one.
And you're like the only person I know, period, that had that opportunity. And that was also great because you were able to welcome the world to the AM/FM diner. And it must have been so exciting to kick things off, for this to be open during that time. I can't imagine a better time.
Matthew and myself are big football people, soccer people, and we hope to host a lot of soccer matches here as the year progresses. But being able to kick off the World Cup here, very special to us. We actually met World Cup 2010.
No.
Yes, and so we've been together since then. I think
Matthew, come in here as we end up this segment. Now, he is not mic'd, but you know what? This is this is a product of a love story, which I think is a lot of fun.
I think it was USA England. He was on one end of the bar yelling and screaming, and I was on another end of the bar yelling and screaming, and then that's kind of how we began our relationship. So it's appropriate for us to really bring soccer into this concept as well, since it's a big part of who we are and how we met.
Well, this has been so much fun. I'm going to be diving into this meatloaf.
Yes.
This is a love story, and your food is made with love, and this has been such a lovely experience. Thank you so much. All right, we've got more GMT to come, so stay tuned. We're going to be right back.